So, did you watch the Nintendo Direct? If not, let me give you a rundown very quick of the things that were listed. New Splatoon stuff, that's something good, I guess. New Mario vs. Donkey Kong game, I guess, sure. Yeah, Super Mario RPG, that was already revealed. Princess Peach Showtime, that was already revealed. Detective Pikachu, eso ya lo habían revelado. Luigi's Mansion 2 HD for the Nintendo Switch, eso ya fue revelado. WarioWare Move It, cela déjà te révélé. Trombone Champ. I want you to take the time to realize that Nintendo considered this so important that it needed to be a headliner for the Nintendo Direct. So it was an okay Nintendo Direct until the very last end with the final reveal. They are going to bring back one of their best games ever onto the Nintendo Switch. Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. The acclaimed best game from the Paper Mario series is getting a remaster with better graphics and is releasing in 2024. But here's the thing, I say that this is the best Paper Mario game, but in reality, I have never even finished this game. I always got stuck after 5 minutes of gameplay. Okay, take the time to reflect on my side, okay? I had this game when I was a child, I'll say when I was 7 years old. So being 7 years old, didn't know any English, and the game wasn't translated. You can see how that turned out for me. Ma, ¿qué dice ahí? Dice que ya ganaste, ya ganaste. Ándale, apágame ese juego. ¿A poco ya gané? Oh, yo no soy muy buen jugador entonces. Being restricted to understand this game because of the language was something frustrating while I was growing. Everyone said that from that point forward the game went downhill and that Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door was the last and most important game for this series. And with the reveal of the Nintendo Direct giving me flashbacks of my childhood, I decided to try this game for the very first time again. So here it is, the game that I didn't understand as a child. Today, I'm going to tell you the story of the Thousand Year Door. An awfully long time ago, in a strange and far-off land, a big bustling town thrived. It was a town where all people lived very happy lives, and it was said that the town was very prosperous. But one day, tragedy befell this blessed place. A great cataclysm struck the town and its people. Darkness filled the skies and the earth roared and shook. It was as if the very world had come to a violent end, and in but a single night, the town sank into the depths of earth. Many moons rose and set. Stories of the town passed into the pages of fairy tales. And when the town site no longer held relics of its past, people gathered at that spot and built a new town. But word soon spread among the people who moved in that an ancient city lay deep underground and that a magnificent treasure rested there. Indeed. This is the tale of the fabled treasure of Rogueport. Yes, this is where it begins, in the sea town of Rogueport. The tale of the quest for the legendary treasure and the Thousand Year Door starts here. That was just the intro of the game. Okay, so now I get it. The main thing of this game is just a bunch of reading to really understand the story. But remember that when I was little, I didn't know any English, and honestly, I just skipped this part since I didn't really know what it meant. But right now, I can see with delight what this game has been holding for me for over 12 years. This intro of the game really sets the whole idea of being completely different. In my mind, I've always thought of Mario, the guy that goes to save the princess from being kidnapped. But in this game, the story is totally different just by the intro of the game. That's the idea of the Paper Mario series. Okay, this may sound pretty obvious to you, Paper Mario being an RPG game, but for me, this game is a really creative way to do more things outside of the Mario universe. Anyways, to summarize the next thing that is going to happen, Peach gets something from the streets, it looks like a chest, and suddenly, boom, the title screen. Jesus, that's loud. Whoa, 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 whoa. Who are you? Why do you have breasts? And why do we have a hammer? This title screen screams originality and creativity, but at the same time, it's so confusing because I don't know any of these guys. Well, you know, we know those two, but like the other people, I truly haven't seen them in any other mainline Mario games. It's going to be intriguing since like, why are they here? Why is a Goomba and a Koopa our allies? Aren't they enemies in other Mario games? And also, does Yoshi have a kid or what is that? But anywho, we jump into my file number 4 because of no reason in particular and start the adventure. Mario? Isn't that the guy from, you know, the game? Luigi? Yes, so I kinda remember this part. Luigi tells us that the Princess Peach has sent us a letter. I'll summarize it for you. Mario! I know that you just got done fighting, but do you want another adventure? I'm sure you do, if not, why are we even talking? Anyway, head down to Rogueport because I got something cool from a box, and I can't do it alone, even though I'm going to start this adventure without you. Whoops, sorry, that's a little spoiler, haha. Anyway, bye! I know you were coming, so you want to be with me so bad. Man, Mario should get a new girl, like, Peach knows this Italian man will do everything for her. So off we go to Rogueport for our Princess Peach and this new adventure she got for us. As we arrive, the very first guy that introduces us to Rogueport says to us that we look a bit too green. I think you got the wrong guy, buddy. He tells us that there's a save button if we want to save our progress. How convenient. These save points are putting kind of everywhere on the adventure. For me, it's so frustrating that we have to manually save the game on a point of the map. Why can't the game just do that on its own? Because when I was playing the game, I forgot to save my progress before getting off, so when I got back on it, I needed to skip throughout all of the dialogue I have already been through. So it would have been cool that at some point the game saves automatically, but at the same time, these save points really gives you the idea that something important is going to happen, or has just happened. Like before heading onto a big battle, there's a save point. Okay, it's not like you didn't know you were going to fight somebody, but these save points are kind of predictable, you know? You see one before a loading zone and then everything clicks. There's something waiting for me at the other side of this tunnel, right? Well, wouldn't you know it, I got mugged. But anyway, if we continue along into the adventure, we can see that an argument is happening. Oh my god! It's the Goomba from the menu! Yeah, so this Goomba is being harassed by these guys because they want to know if she knows anything about the crystal stars and the secret treasure that's on Rogueport. She says no, blah blah blah, we go and defend her. Okay, like literally we didn't even go to defend her. She went up to us and used us as a guardian shield. How does Mario have such bad luck? He was just going there to get with Peach onto a magical adventure, but now he has to defend this little Goomba girl. But alright, we defend the girl by hitting the guys with a hammer. But what we didn't know is that this guy has an army that he can use to his advantage. Sure, I guess. It seems that the army doesn't have eyes to look for us since we can just skedaddle our way out of there. I really gotta say, this is the weirdest intro by far onto a video game, but saying that it's weird doesn't mean that it's bad. I said that it's weird because of the things that they are saying. Crystal stars, Rogueport, also why are there just bob-ombs and toads hanging around peacefully? Why does Goombas have a gender? But that's also so crazy to think. Is the crystal stars related to the main story? Who are these guys and why are they so different compared to the other people of this intro? Why do they have an X on their suit, and also are they going to be important to the story? So many questions that I have, but it's clear as water that everything from this intro is important. Anyways, after we got done with that whole situation, the little Goomba introduces herself as Goombella and gives us a kiss. Damn, Mario, I didn't know you were into that kind of stuff. Mario and Goombella talk about why are they on Rogueport. Coincidentally, they are both for the same reason, because of the forbidden treasure hidden deep on Rogueport. So because they are both on the same quest, we team up to seek for the Princess Peach since she took off on a single player adventure instead of waiting for Mario, and also to see the legendary treasure. Yay! So this is something that I didn't really understand. I know Mario has the map and all of that, but he was just walking around with the same goal as you, so now you follow us for that? And here's something that happens sometimes on this game, mostly in the beginning. Things happen because they are necessary to happen, you know? Look, I'm not into RPGs, alright? But playing Paper Mario is just so fun, and my day resumes to just being done with my important stuff just so that I can continue playing this game. But like out of the sudden we are defending somebody, this Goombella joins our crew. It seems more like a planned thing than something natural. And I want to make it clear, it's not hate that I'm portraying to these situations. It's more of the feeling of, you could have handled it better, Nintendo. Just saying. But anyways, we continue the story with Goombella telling us that there's a professor that has been investigating all of this, and it would be helpful if we go to him with our map. Yeah, I'm going to totally be trusting you and your professor with this map that has been hunted for years. Let's sidetrack a little bit from the story and take a look at the place we are on. Rogueport. I honestly remember it more alive when I was little. What I really love about Rogueport is the fresh tech they came up with this main world. From the very start of the game, we already know that Rogueport is going to be super important. So you may think that it's a fancy town or like a really colorful world, but in reality, it's just a normal, kind of shaded town with many characters to encounter. You got people guarding the gate if they get mad at you, there are others that will steal your coins if you don't think fast enough, and there's a hanging rope right in the middle of the area. Where do you ever see this on a mainline Mario game? This is something so random and so obscure, but it fits so well with the theme of this town. And as I've said, where do you see this kind of stuff? On the Mushroom Kingdom or in Delfino Plaza even. That's why I love Rogueport, because they knew that if they wanted to do something different with this game, they truly needed to change everything about the Mario universe. But alright, the professor, what does he want? Well, Mario and our new crewmate Goombella explained to the professor about this new map that we have, and he also has something for us that we can use to our advantage. If we hold the map at the 1000-year door, then something cool will happen. Or well, at least that's how I understood it. But to get to the 1000-year door, we have to go under Rogueport. How are we going to do that? Oh, don't worry, the professor has a pipe right in front of his house that goes underground. So as we go down, we fight some Goombas. I don't really care about the fights, you know? It's not like I hate them, it's just that it's simple to understand. You can jump, throw your hammer, or use items to your advantage. The important things about the fights really hasn't entered the gameplay, but it will soon on this video, trust me. After some exploring, we discovered something that I would like to call it the Black Chest. Why is it so important, you may ask? Well, because with the help of the Black Chest, we can get certain abilities that we can do with real life paper. Let me explain a bit further. He'll say that we will get whatever we want if we help him, and that he's been stuck there forever. But in reality, once we free him, he will put a curse on us, and this is one of the greatest ways of putting abilities onto a game. First of all, trying to say that this is something bad is just so funny, like, oh no, I now have the ability to glide, how horrible, you know? Dang it. And from this point you can pick up this idea or this concept like, oh, so he's going to be gifting us these powers in this way. Huh. Pretty cool. And second of all, on this moment I realized he is in paper just because the game needed to be something unique. With paper you can do an airplane or a boat or also be super thin, and here's where those things become curses onto this game. Again, such an incredible thought, and honestly never expected the part of the curses. And if you think of this and remember that there was a tiny gap on one of the gates, you can connect the dots and say that there's going to be a curse that helps you get through here or become a boat. So now unlockables that seemed impossible, they may be possible in the future. That's amazing. 10 out of 10. So with this new curse, we can now get to the other side gliding, where we find the... drum roll please. There it is. There it is. The 1000-year door. It's the name of the game. So yeah, I don't know why they act all surprised, like the clues were all there, you know. How come a guy out of nowhere in just half an hour has figured everything out? But oh well. With the map in our hands and being in front of the 1000-year door, we get to see where the first crystal star is located. 1. out of 7. And as a bonus, with every crystal star that you get, you will receive a new special move that you can use when you battle enemies. And here's where the important things about the battles are happening. On battle, you will have an audience that will boost your special move if you do your attacks right. This was something that really surprised me on my first play. It's so random to have people watching the fight, and like I've said, it's not just a little laughing factor. The enemies may throw something bad at you, so we have to kick them out. The toads are going to throw good stuff at you. So with this addition, we now have to be careful with the audience. And it's not just that. Some random time in the stage, there will be cardboard cutouts that sometimes fall on us. So that's another thing to be on the lookout. If they start to get wobbly, then we got to press A to not take damage. This concept of many things that you need to take care is something so magical for this game. Because if it was just hitting the enemy over and over, I don't think it would have been that fun in my opinion. Or let's say it was the other way around. Let's say that the cardboard cutouts or the audience are more important than the fight itself. That's also a bad concept. So Nintendo found the perfect balance of the mini events happening on the battle and as well the main fight that you are on. Just perfect. The first special move that we get is just get as many things as you can. It's kind of weird that when you turn on this power up, the enemies just disappear, but it's a really nice move if you're low on health or battle points. And as a plus, to keep things even more interesting, the game offers badge points to equip more badges. What are those, you may ask? Well, these are just little helps that can really affect you on the game. They can be a variant of a move, like jumping in a row on enemies or have a super heavy hammer. They can also be more health on the match or make the enemies miss if we are low on health. These are super important if you want to beat some enemies, because sure, you can have more health on a battle, but you may need also more power with the hammer or jump infinitely on an enemy to beat it. So that's also another strategy that you need to take care of. What badges are important when heading onto a really important fight? So after we're done glowing in front of the 1000-year door and seeing where the next crystal star is, we head down onto the professor's place to see what about it, you know? There's no text, no nothing. Mr. Know-It-All seems to know where the first crystal star is. Petal Meadows, he says. But what is that, you may ask? I don't know. Look, till this point, I was having the time of my life, okay? Exploring this new world while being able to understand the story was so refreshing and it made me feel like a kid. It was so exciting exploring the underground of Rogueport, and it felt so rewarding figuring a puzzle out or getting the new power-up in front of the 1000-year door. But when I got to this point, I kind of figured out how this game is going to go. Just as the same with the curses, you know? We are going to get the location of the crystal star. We'll find great enemies on the way. We get it, and then we go to the 1000-year door just to see where the next one is. While I'm writing the script, that's basically the theory I'm getting with this pattern. I hope I'm wrong, but if I'm not, I won't be mad, because even that formula is so crazy to think what the next world awaits for me. Because if all of this was just a prologue, what else is there for me in the future chapters? Well, why don't we figure that out? Chapter 1: Castle and Dragon. You guys, I have to confess, this game is the most complete thing I've ever played from the Mario series, and I'm only on chapter 1. Okay, I may be exaggerating, but that whole intro just sets me up for surprise after surprise. Sure, it's no real secret that if it's a Mario game, there is always going to be a green level, and that's the case with Petal Meadows. But the thing I absolutely adore is that it's not called Mushroom Kingdom or Flower Biome or something Mario-like. It's completely different from the Mario format, and from the very beginning, you are telling me that there's going to be a dragon at some point? I'm all for it, dude. Anyway, we continue our adventure till we discover this new town that has a lot of new characters. You got Michael Jackson, a girl Koopa, because that seems to be a thing here, and the Powerpuff Toads, the Traveling Sisters. We also meet the mayor of this town, who is an old Koopa that doesn't really understand our name very well. He calls us Murphy, but he tells us that to get the Crystal Star, we must fight Hooktail. That's the dragon we just saw earlier, and he's on the Forbidden Castle. But together, we must find the secret pipe and unlock it with the stone keys. Something that I don't like is that these characters are treated as super dumb people. He says he doesn't know where it is, but it was literally on the middle of our path when we got there. Are you sure you don't know where it's at? Anyway, before we even head down to that adventure to the Stone Keys, someone interrupts us. His name is Coops, and he wanted to ask us something. But then he literally didn't even say something to us and says forget it. Okay, well I'm just gonna... yeah, that's good. So to find the stone keys for the secret pipe, we have to get into another side adventure. But it's not just a little side quest that you have to defeat a boss or something. And you think that it's going down that path, since you keep fighting everything that's on your way to get the stone keys. But once you get to the final boss, you're in a TV show answering questions. This is the greatest game ever made. Like, imagine if in Hunger Games or in any other survival movie, after defeating everyone, you are put into a quiz about the things that happened there. How hilarious would that be? And I really gotta say, what a nice way to change the story a little bit. Who truly expected this part to be a show type of level instead of a fight? So creative and so original, and since the guard asks things that you need to be exploring, the game is forcing you to explore a bit more from the main story. I mean, sure, you get 3 opportunities to fail, and some of the questions are super easy and don't take a lot of thinking, but it's such a perfect way to make the player investigate the world we are on and not focus that much on the crystal stars. Anyway, we get the stone keys from the mysterious cave filled with fuzzies, and then we leave off onto the secret, never been found or seen pipe. But wait! Before we even get to the pipe, someone interrupts us. God damn it, you again? So, Coops, you know this guy, right? He actually now has something to say to us. He wants to be a member of the team since we are going to fight Hooktail. He's always been called a crybaby and a wimp, but if he defeats the mighty Hooktail, he can be strong like his dad. And just look at the little guy when he says he can be on our team. He's totally me, dude. Come on in, Coops. Like, at first didn't like that he interrupted us, but like, he's just so damn cool. Anyway, we found a totally secret pipe with the stone keys and we're off to Hooktail's castle. And I gotta say that this part has honestly been my favorite. It's just the perfect combination of everything. There's dialogue, there's puzzles, and there's a new curse that we get to use anywhere on this game. I really like the dialogues on this part, and it's not necessarily every single time you open a door or encounter something there's always going to be dialogue. There is such a funny part with Coops mistaking some skull with his father, being all sad and everything. There's also the epic mini-boss battle where a bunch of skull appears to block your way. The puzzles that you encounter work just perfectly with Coops, and it really makes you think, how do you set him up to get more secrets of this game? Also, it's a really nice way to get the idea of how can he be used for more secrets in the future, or even in older parts of the game that seemed impossible at first glance. I swear, I felt like a genius discovering everything. We also get a new curse on this castle, the curse of being thin. Again, oh, how bad the situation is. You know, dang it, this sucks, man. Well, with this new curse, we can now fit through tiny gaps. I called it! I called it! This curse helps us get even more things that were behind some bars, like this sound effect badge that changes the sound Mario does when he hits something, or a castle key that was a requirement to get into more parts of the castle, but there was no way of getting this key without the curse. I honestly spent like a good 5 minutes trying to figure out how to get that key before the curse, then I suddenly gave up and went on with the story. The only thing that I truly didn't like about this whole adventure is the amount of enemies there are on this castle. Like, literally, there were minimum of 3 on every single room. It's kind of annoying that they are always chasing you, and they literally don't make that much of a difference in leveling up. We can beat them up so easily. It could be nice that you could evade them even more, but the red Koopas are super fast, and the dry bones won't stop chasing you if you don't fight them. It's really the only thing that bothered me throughout the whole castle. I know that the game is just trying to get us prepared for the fight of the mighty Hooktail and have star points and items for our advantage, but at the same time, do we really need all of these enemies? And it's not only with this area. In the area where you needed to find the stone keys or under Rogueport, the same enemies tend to appear every single time you load up that area. Again, they are somewhat easy to evade, but it's so annoying that if you don't, you are now doing this, and it's not even worth our time with the bare minimum of star points you are getting. I would have liked that at least 1 out of the 3 enemies appeared, but the same enemies are there every time you load up a zone. But anyways, the castle. Once we fight the many enemies, we discover that the dragon is afraid of something that starts with CR and ends with Ikit. No, I don't get it. Still wondering what is the fear of the mighty dragon, we go up to him anyway without knowing that the forbidden fear. And I must say that this sequence of going up to fight Hooktail was so epic. Seeing Mario just going up a tower while the camera was spinning to follow him, it really says the whole idea of traveling way up there. This area could have worked for more spaces with more enemies and more secrets, but this feeling of going up the tower for the final boss was even better in my opinion. And here we are, the fight with the mighty Hooktail. It's the dragon from the cover! This is Hooktail, the mighty dragon that has eaten a bunch of people who have tried to get the treasure he holds. You're telling me this guy's afraid of crickets? It's actually crickets. Oh, crickets. Yeah, I'm scared of them as well. I gotta tell you guys something. It took me 2 tries to beat this guy. The first time, I always had in my mind to find the crickets in the castle or in a way to remind him of the crickets before the fight. I even went to Rogueport in hope that these little bugs were the thing that scared him, so that's why they are here. But no, as I said, if you get thin, you can enter areas that didn't seem possible. So in one of the cages there was a badge that altered the sound effects of the attack Mario does. You remember that, right? Well, the sound effects are the crickets. What? What was that about? I was so confused at the second attempt with Hooktail because I now had the sound effect badge activated and I thought, oh well, it's just, I don't know, a nice variation to the gameplay. I like that. But then he starts to say something about the crickets and that's where I went, oh. So yeah, the cricket sound effects help us on the battle. I honestly adore the middle of the fight where there's a bunch of dialogue of Hooktail begging us for forgiveness, even letting us smell their feet for free, since a lot of people pay a bunch of money for that scent. Yeah, no, I'm good, man. We say no a bunch of times, boom, we defeat the guy. When I first got defeated by Hooktail, I thought that this game was going to be super hard on the boss battles. But once I looked at the badges and really got into defending the attacks he does, this was a piece of cake. And you know what? That was the reason that we had many enemies on the way, so that you get the feeling of blocking and attacking. But there were too many in my opinion. It really got frustrating that every 5 seconds you were in another fight. But oh well. Once we defeat Hooktail, the last thing that we need to do is to find the crystal star. Wait. What's happening? Is that your dad? Yeah, I'm out. I'm finally out. Whoa, it can't be. Eh? Dad? Ah. Hey, you're cool. After one of the best comebacks in video game history, we found out that the father of Koops actually has the crystal star, and because we saved him, he gives it to us. Huh, that's such a strange sense of trust you have for us, but your son is in our side, so yeah, I'll take it. And that concludes chapter 1. Let me make that clear. Chapter 1. That was just 1 crystal star. That was just 1 out of 7. That was just 1 out of 7. God damn, this game is long, man. Yeah, that was my honest reaction after realizing that this was just 1 out of 7 crystal stars that we have to get. Add to that there's more extra stuff on this game, like the final boss, or even other stuff that may pop in the main story. It's so amazing, all of the content waiting for me. If this was just the first chapter of this amazing game, I seriously can't think of all the things they came up for this game. I literally never had that same feeling with any other game that made me realize how long this journey is going to be and even be happy about it. I'm not really overwhelmed by the length of this game, because if that was just the prologue and the first chapter, then there is nothing more to expect than just a fun time with Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. And I really gotta say, the characters that I met on the way, like the Professor or Goombella, are filled with pure originality. You can tell who is who, and it's not just a copy and paste of other characters that have appeared on Mario's history. I really like the trust Goombella has for us, and she's here to explain the things we don't really understand. I really like how the Professor is being super supportive about our situation, giving us the clues about the crystal stars. And of course, my main man himself, Koops, is just perfect. These characters are my comfort zone whenever I play this game, but it's not just them. When I was a child, I always wondered, when does the dragon appear, since he's on the main cover of the game? And it was such a surprise to see him on the very very first chapter. Probably the most important thing that hit me when I played this game is that I finally understood the hype behind Paper Mario the Thousand Year Door. It's not just a simple RPG game with Mario and his friends. It's amazing idea after amazing idea. It's filled with originality and so much passion. And I just can't wait to see what the other chapters are holding for me. But I want you to hover your mouse over the screen, or look at how far you've gotten into this video, if you're still watching right now. Come on, you got it. Did you do it? I'm hoping you did. If not, I just look stupid right now. Yep, this video is about to end, and how am I going to cover the rest of the game in just the span of a few minutes? Well, that's because I am not, and actually I'm turning this game into a full-on series of the channel. Yeah, I seriously was debating if I should save this game for like a really long review. You know what kind of videos I'm talking about, those 7-hour-long videos or something like that. But I think this is a better way, and it helps me to get a video per week and not leave you guys hanging. I have now just started with chapter 2, but I can't tell you guys what is going to happen. Okay, just one thing, it's pretty damn funny, the first couple bits of gameplay. Wow, Nintendo, you really needed to do that. Alright, that's it. Anyway, I can't wait to keep talking about this game on the next week. But until then, you do your stuff and I'll do mine, which is playing this game even more. Bye!